strain of unknown pesticides used to grow these crops are seeping into the air, soil, and waterways. And the open air field testing of GMOs, I feel, significantly challenge this basic human right. As a mother, it is deeply distressing to know that protecting your children from the health harms of pesticides and the unforeseen consequences of GMOs is out of our control. Even more worrisome is to know that U.S. government agencies established to improve the health, safety, and well-being of the public are just as limited in this ability. Over a year ago, when Molokai experienced a series of devastating fugitive dust storms stretching miles across the landscape and finally settling on our fragile coral reef system, the Department of Health Clean Air Branch on Maui was immediately contacted. To my surprise, considering the length of time that Monsanto has been established in Hawaii, the DOH at the time was not even aware of Monsanto's best management practices. They also asserted that there are no regulations on chemicals in the dust. In closing, I support this measure and hope that questions, unknowns, and uncertainties surrounding pesticides and the experimenting of GMOs will come to light. Thank you to Councilwoman Ellie Cochran for introducing a bill that places high value on human life and environmental health. And also thank you for the opportunity to submit a testimony.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Riddy. Any questions for Ms. Riddy on her testimony, members? Having none, thank you very much.
Our next testifier is Jaira Torres Uni.
Excuse me, before we start the testimony, we're going to take a short recess. Short recess, subject to the call of the chair.
e kulei ke kali aku nei ia o e ho'i mai ka uala e pili kukua kulei nani mai ole ea ke ola nauloa e kali aku nei ia o ea e ho'i mai ka uala e pili e busui lei o ina
Policy Committee shall return to order. And we took this short recess. We were on the Molokai district receiving comment from Molokaians. So Ms. Alcon, if you would, we apologize for the short break. If you would ask the next Molokai testifier to please come forward.
Our next testifier is Jaira Torres Umi.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jaira Umi. I work at Microgen and I oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Next person, please, Molokai.
Our next testifier is Charlton Wallace Jr.
Hi, my name is Charlton Wallace. I work for Microgen. I oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next testifier, please.
Our next testifier is Walter Riddy.
Okay, thank you.
Aloha, my name is Walter Riddy. I am pro-agriculture. I have a 3-acre farm on homestead land on Molokai. And we are here today because we are being threatened. People are saying that these corporations are over-regulated and they already have too much regulations. My homestead is next to these fields, and I'm saying they are not regulated. There is problems going on not only in Maui County. I've been to all of the islands. I've been involved in this issue throughout the state. And I'm saying that I am in strong support of this bill. If we don't get this bill, and the people's fears are not tended to, this issue is going to boil over. We are afraid for our children. We have to drive twice a day through all of this dust and pesticides. These pesticides are now next to our high school, the only high school on Molokai. These fields are now in Kualapu town, next to Kualapu Elementary School. These fields surround the MIS, the Molokai irrigation system. It surrounds the whole system. This system not only puts water on our fields, this system is drinkable water that feeds Mauna Loa town and the west side of Molokai. We need regulations. Thank you, Ellie, for listening to the people and taking on these corporations. We need to regulate these corporations, and I support this bill 100%.
You done, Mr. Reedy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one last thing, that no matter what happens, we're going to protect our lands from these corporations, and we're going to protect our children from these corporations. And we need you guys to help us protect ourselves. That's why you guys are serving there, and we're telling you that we need protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reedy, for your testimony. Members, any questions for Mr. Reedy on testimony he has provided this afternoon? Having none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please, Ms. Alcon.
Our next testifier is Loretta Ritchie.
Okay, thank you.
Aloha. My name is Loretta Ritty. I live in Molokai. I'm here to support this bill. Our children cannot make choices about their environment. It is up to us adults to make the right decisions to ensure that they are protected. My concerns are my grandchildren, my children, and the water that is in the MIS system. The cornfield surrounds the MIS reservoir. The MIS water comes to my home. Our animals drink the water. We water our plants. This water also goes to Mauna Loa for their drinking water. And so I'm concerned about that. The cornfields are across Kualapu'u School and Molokai High School. I have grandchildren in that school, and I'm concerned. I think that the corporations have gone too long without being regulated. I want to know, as parent, grandparent, what kind of sprays they're using, where they're spraying, and when they're spraying. I think that's something that we have a right to know. So I support this bill 100%. They're spraying and when they're spraying, I think that's something that we have a right to know. So I support this bill 100%.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Councilman Hukama, Councilman Coles. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Maria Corazon Balangatan. I work Monsanto for 10 years. I work Mycogen Seed too for 1 season. And this job helps me to provide my family and pay my mortgage and other expenses. I love my job. I support this bill because I feel safe, and this job is a great place to work. Thank you. This is Maria Balangatan.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for Ms. Balangatan? Having none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next person, please, Ms. Alcon.
Our next testifier is away because of the financial struggle of less job opportunities that this island is unable to offer. Then where will be very difficult days for the people of Molokai. I understand that there is a struggle to find the appropriate balance on this island, but I would not want to leave my home here. My home here if I lost my job. Most importantly, I care more about the future of my children and grandchildren, and I want to see more grown here on Molokai. I would love to raise my grandchildren here, but I just wish there was more for them.
2.5 minutes.
For them, not just I growing up to as children, but I advance in their lives. I would hate to see their ability to grow restricted because of lack of no resources, and I just cannot watch all of our children leave
3 minutes.
this island if there is nothing to left. If there is nothing to let them to stay, the money I earn from this job will be the money I will provide for my grandchildren. Then they go to college and have a better education and life for themselves. I'm sure I'm not the only parents that want to see more opportunities for my children, grandchildren, and Molokai children in the future. But I can only hope that we are able to
4 minutes.
step up for our future generation and also make better future for them. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the lady on the testimony provided? Thank you very much for being there. Next person, please.
Our next testifier is Leandra Duvashel Rollins. Oh, sorry, Leanda. Good afternoon. My name is Leanda Duvashel Rollins. I have been an employee of Monsanto for 5 years. I am also testifying at my own free will. Monsanto is a high safety factor. If for any reason they think it's unsafe, trust we are not allowed there. We get safety briefings every morning. We are constantly reminded how important safety is. So to say that it is unsafe couldn't be more far from the truth. I have bad asthma, and it is finally being controlled. But with being in the heart of all this, I am a field crew member. I don't work in the office. I can honestly say I have never had an episode because of the pesticides here at work. I saw a sign reading once, pesticide is worse than ice. That is so far from the truth, if I have ever seen it. There's a lot of bad things come out of ice. People have taken their other people's lives, and not to mention some of them have taken their own. We should all put our energy into the fight against drug abuse instead. There is nothing illegal in Monsanto's practices. I stand strong in what I believe, and this is what I believe in. I oppose the bill.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for the lady on testimony provided? Having none, thank you very much. Ms. Alcan, next person.
Our next testifier is Delphine Rabara Sr.
Hi, my name is Delphine Rabara. I work for Monsanto Molokai. I love my job and oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next person, please.
Our next testifier is Sid Bicoy.
Aloha and good afternoon, Maui County Council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to voice my opinion. My name is Sid Bicoy, and I oppose this bill. The use of restricted use pesticides is already regulated at the federal and state government levels by the EPA, USDA, and HDOA. I do not see the significance of adding another level of regulations. I can assure you that Monsanto operates within compliance of the current guidelines set forth. All of Monsanto's pesticide applicators have gone through the state's training and certification process in order to obtain their pesticide applicator's license. In addition to the strict procedures, extra precautions are taken, such as limiting field operations in windy conditions in order to reduce pesticide drift and dirt erosion. These additional measures are not mandatory, but are implemented as an act of being a good neighbor and steward. If this bill is passed, it will create extra financial obligations to farmers as well as taxpayers. Some people see the use of pesticides in agriculture as a problem, but I do not see this bill as a solution. Passing this bill will not solve the proposed issue at hand. Please do not pass this bill. Thank you for your time, and aloha.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for Mr. Bicoy? Having none, thank you. Next, Ms. Alcon.
Our next testifier is Juanette Lee.
Aloha, my name is Juanette Lee, born and raised on Molokai. History is just repeating itself. Pineapple companies came to Molokai promising work, and yes, they provided. use our vulnerability and needs of our parents for their profit. When they found cheaper labor, they left our families flat and left behind their pilau. Remnants of this greed continue to show themselves on our aina that we were forced to live with every day. The pesticides that were sprayed over and over again as we played in a yard not even 500 feet away. I never knew how dangerous they were. There were no signs telling us not to play there. There was no signs telling us it's poison. Cancer is high on Molokai, and I cannot pinpoint where it comes from, but it doesn't take a genius to realize what's going on. I support this bill. I don't think applying buffer zones around schools, homes, and hospitals is too much to ask to keep our community safe. I support the need to report what kinds of pesticides they use on their farms to keep our community safe. I support reporting any genetically modified organism because I have the right to know. This bill will not affect the small farmers. It states 15 gallons of use of or purchase of 5 pounds of restricted pesticides before this law will affect you as a commercial farmer. My Ohana friends and neighbors will not lose their jobs because of the buffer zones near hospital, homes, and schools compared to the hundreds of acres they already possess. This bill will not take away any jobs from anyone, which many has testified before me. But I believe it will create more because the big commercial farmers will have the responsibility to our community to keep Molokai safe and healthy for generations to come. Again, this bill will only affect only those farmers that use 15 gallons or purchase 5 pounds of restricted pesticides. If anybody using that much, you're killing me. I have heard firsthand stories from employees that they would find dead birds around water puddles in the fields. I hope no children are playing in fields. It takes 25 plus years for surface water to reach our aquifer. My grandchildren will suffer the long-term effects 10 times worse as we are from the pineapple fields today. My experience of pesticide drift that swept through my home in Manila camp in recent years that was once farmed by Monsanto.
2.5 minutes.
The spatara problems were apparent in my household and neighbors' problems breathing every so often and allergy reactions, itching eyes and throats. And we used to say they must be spraying, especially during Kona winds. My brother, who never experienced asthma, all of a sudden was in ER gasping for air. I cannot prove that pesticides used were the reason for this, but I do know after they stopped farming in that area, symptoms has not flared up again. This is not too much to ask of you. Yes, I agree with more work, more headaches for you big companies. But if you are for the future of Molokai, then it's a small price to pay. In closing, to my Ohana friends and neighbors, this matter hits home for all of us, at times divides us. It is not intended to hurt any of you. It is not against you. It is my responsibility to my children and my mo'opuna to keep them safe and healthy, and because they are the future of Molokai. I love you, and God bless Molokai.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions to Ms. Lee on her testimony, members? Having none, thank you very much. Next person, please.
Our next testifier is Cheryl Pritchard.
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. My hands off to you to remember everything you heard today, or even parts of it. I'd like to start out by saying I have respect for every worker who gets up every morning to work for a meager wage. And I understand that jobs are needed for health, and I also am concerned for everybody's health on this island and the health of the land from which we eat. And for that is what I'm speaking to today. The lasting legacy of heptachlor and DDT today on this island is deplorable, and to continue poisoning the land is irresponsible. Birth defects continue generations down the line from Agent Orange chemical warfare in Vietnam. I'm concerned about the externalized costs of operation by mega corporations. Monsanto owns 5 Superfund sites. That's externalized costs. They're externalizing their health costs and the cleanup costs. in Anniston, Alabama, there was a court case against Monsanto in the 90s, and the Supreme Court said that Monsanto was a corporation that should not be allowed to operate in civilized society. I am wholly distrustful of the profit motive of the top decision makers. We have a right to know what chemicals and what quantity are assaulting us, and I support this bill. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Any questions for Ms. Pritchard on her testimony? Thank you very much for being here. Next person, please.
Our last testifier for today is Judy Caparita. Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Love you guys. I'm here to say, I didn't know nothing about GMO. I never got involved with it. But then one day I sat down and I said, Lord, I'd like to know what is GMO. And then, when I opened up the word, it says the crossbreeding of the seeds that is very displeasing to him. He made humans for humans, animals for animals, plants for plants, fishes for the sea, and the fowls of the air. And because they are crossbreeding it, and this is why you take the parts of the bodies and they put it together to make the seed. Okay? We were invited about 2 weeks later by Ray to come there. He wanted to talk story. So we went to his office and had talk story, me and my sister, Ruth Manu. And as we sat there, he was going to get coffee, then he took us into his room. I asked him where his room, because we were standing up inside the hallway. And then we met some of the workers there, the girls, and then we got to the room. He put up his presentation, and he showed us about the corn. From the time the corn was from hardly any seeds in the cob, until now it was fully full with the seeds. And they said, oh, it's beautiful. It was full. Then when he finished presenting it, then I said, brother, what is the kind? What is this thing all about? He said, well, we're trying to feed the whole world. I said, oh. I said, you finished with your presentation? And he said, yes. I said, brother, God no need your help. He's been taking care of the whole world. He created heavens and earth. He made you and I. And you telling me you like feed the whole world? We wasn't even in existence when he already was taking control of the world. And he just looked at me. As much as he wanted to hold his tears was running on the side of his face. It is powerful. And then we have all these things happening. I told him, brother, if you never heard it before, I'm letting you know that we're accountable for everything
2.5 minutes.
This earth while we are living here. Everyone is put into position to do what is right in God's eyes. We're all accountable one day. And that's what I told you, brother. And I'm telling you folks now that I know what it's all about. I saw the wind blow, and it picked up all the dust, and it made its own clouds of Molokai, so red. I thought we were burning. The island was burning down. I saw the tourists run out of the car. The cars tried to take pictures of this big red cloud. And we had a rainbow up at that time. And even the rainbow changed color. That's how bad it is. And I saw them put on these suits. I thought they was astronauts in the field trying to, whatever they're doing out there, making the chemicals and all that. Say, brother, we asked for them to label. They don't want to label. What is heating that we cannot know about? All those foods are being labeled so we can know what we want to eat and what we don't want to eat. That is so simple. That's why my sister and I, we were together and we talked to them, and this is what we told them. We said, you know what, brother? You are accountable because you're the head on this island. And I let all my people know Molokai. I get involved in everything that
comes to Molokai, because my dad used to stand on the corner and cry for the Hawaiian people to be thankful for what Molokai has. We are blessed people here. We don't need all the junk stuff from outside.
Auntie Judy,
We are so blessed. If you know that the thing is no good, then you know what? One day you're going to have it, because all my family that work for the cornfield, now they are getting that they are sick. They cannot find a cure for it.
Auntie Judy, you gotta stop. You have to stop your
That's why I
testimony.
said,
So we thank you for your testimony,
that's what I
Auntie
wanted to
Judy.
share, that it is a thing that we need to look into it, and we support this bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Judy, for your testimony. Any questions for Ms. Caparita, or better known as Auntie Judy? Okay, having none, thank you very much for your testimony. Is there anyone else in Molokai, Ms. Alcon?
There's no one here on Molokai waiting to testify.
Thank you. Lanai, anyone else?
There's no one waiting to testify on Lanai.
Thank you, Ms. Fernandez. Hana, is there anyone wishing to share testimony?
The HANA office has no one waiting to testify, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Lono. Members, we have taken all testimony that was requested to be presented before the this committee. Any questions for your chair? The chair will post for a future meeting where we can hopefully get to the work part and start the discussion of. Yes? Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there yet. So again, yeah, the next meeting hopefully is to get to that point of doing committee work. So with no objection, members, the chair will be closing testimony on item 58 that is before the policy committee. Any objections? No objection. Thank you very much. The chair will notify of posting of a future date to continue the discussion on this subject matter. Therefore, with no further business before this committee at this time, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for your presence.